The gross income multipliers look at the gross income of a property, and the value of the property is a multiple of the gross. So here's what I mean by that. If you look at the bottom of page number 392, the first way to calculate this is let's get a multiplier. Let's get a gross multiplier. The way that you get the gross multiplier, bottom of 392, is you take the sales price and divide it by the gross income. You take the value of the property and divide it by the gross income. Now, here's what I mean by that. Let's say, well, we can stick with the example here in the book on the top of 393. A property sells for $535,000. The rent is $48,000 a year. This is a GRM of 11.1. What this means is that the value of the property is 11.1 times the gross income. The value is 11.1 times the gross income. Now, as a buyer, do I want to buy real estate with a high or a low multiple as a buyer? I want to buy it with a low multiple. Imagine if this same property, remember, because this formula, of course, is we're taking the value of the property and dividing the value by the gross income. That's what I'm doing here. In this particular setup, let's say that I was able to buy this property for $48,000 and the gross income is $48,000. My multiplier then would be 1. Now that's impossible. But what that represents is an extreme amount of value, where you're able to buy a piece of real estate with a value equal to the income. Never going to happen, but that's what this is in theory. As a seller, I want to sell my investment property to you with a what? With a high multiple, where I'm trying to tell you, hey, look, my property is worth 30 times the gross annual income, right? So when you buy a piece of real estate, you would want to buy it with a very low multiplier. When you sell a piece of real estate, you'd want to sell it with a relatively high multiplier. That's what the gross income multiplier is. It looks at how many times the gross income is the value. Now, you could have an annual multiplier, like these low things like 11.1, 10, 9, these single-digit multipliers are probably annual multipliers, obviously, right? Because you're looking at a multiple of the annual rent. If you have a higher multiplier, like triple digits, over 100, you're probably looking at a monthly multiplier, which you could also do. You could take $535,000 and divide it by $4,000, and then it'd be a much higher number, but it means the same thing, but the multiplier is calculated monthly in that case instead of annually here.